Hello students, in the previous classes we have discussed about flowers, which is the reproductive structure of angiosperms. After that we have studied about the floral details, that is the calyx, group of sepals, corolla, a group of petals, then androecium, male reproductive part consisting of anthers and filament, then the female reproductive part which consists of stigma, style and ovary forming the carpel, or a single carpel, monocarpellary, two carpels, bicarpellary and so on. So this, after the floral details, we have also studied about the pollination process, which is the transference of male reproductive parts, which is the pollen grains or the gametes, transference of pollen grains from anthers to stigma of the flower, or of the same flower. If it is stigma of the same flower, then it is self pollination. If it is the transferences from anthers to stigma of different flowers of the same species, then it is cross pollination. So in the previous classes we have discussed about self and cross pollination, their types, what are the conditions which favored self and cross pollination, how nature favors cross pollination. All these details we have studied in the previous classes. Today we will discuss about the agents of pollination, which is a part of the same chapter, pollination and fertilization. Agents of pollination are required in the cross pollination process. Cross pollination, that since the transference is from one flower to another flower, which may be closer, which may be at a distance from that flower, but they must be of the same species. So this transference require agents like insects, birds, animals, then wind, water. So based on these agents, the names are given, like entomophilus. Phyllis is the mode. So entomophily, anemophily, then ornithophily, hydrophily, all these pollination processes. And after that, there is the topic for today is artificial pollination. Artificial pollination is pollinating a flower with the desired quality pollen grains. If we want a fruit of a hybrid type, or a fruit or a plant containing all the desired characters which we want to get, then the process is removing the pollen grains of that same flower and dusting it with the pollen grains which of the flower which we want, of the qualities which we want to introduce in that plant. So this process is artificial process, or by mechanical way. So it is artificial pollination. And after that we'll discuss about study about the plants as an example for the pollination, as a pea and maize plant. So let's start with the first topic of today, which is the agents of pollination, entomophily. Entomophilous flower. Entomophily. Entomophily is the process of pollination in which the agent is insects. Insects serve as pollinating agent. Pollinating agent. Now, how insects serve as a pollinating agent? When the insect sits on the flower, the pollen grains, the dust, which is very lightweight or dry or sticky, it gets stick to the fine hairs of the insect, and when that insect sits on other flower, these pollen grains get transferred to the next flower. So this is pollinating agent. After the first we will discuss study about the details, that what is these types of pollination. After that, the characteristics of the flower which proves that the flower is, or which shows that pollinating agents are insects or birds or wind. So then here the next is anemophilus or anemophily, where the pollinating agent is wind. Then next is ornithophily. Ornithophily, where the pollination is by birds. Next is Chiropterophily, which is pollination by bats. Then Hydrophily. Hydrophily, where the pollinating agent is water, especially in this is in case of aquatic plants. Then next is the Elephophily. Elephophily, it is not common in many plants or many flowers. It is only in case of Rafflesia, which is the largest flower. So Elephophily by the elephants. Now these are the mode of pollination or the agents of pollination which they participate in the transference process of pollen grains from anthers to stigma of the flower. And now the characteristics of the flower for the types of pollination. First is the entomophily or ornithophily. Ornithophily is by birds, but the characteristics of the flower in both these cases, which is the entomophily or ornithophilous flower, the flowers are large, bright colored flower with nectar to attract the insects and birds are sitting on these flowers to get the nectar or to eat for the sweet fragrance of the nectar. Then large and bright flowers, pollen, this one stigma and anthers, not anthers, pollen grains. Stigma and pollen grains are sticky. Anther and large and showy flowers. With nectar, bright colored, sweet fragrance, then sticky pollen grains. All these characteristics are to attract insects and birds towards that flower, and when they sit on the flower, the pollen grains stick on their body and gets transferred to the another flower when they are sitting on the other flower. Next to this is in case of anemophily. Anemophilous flower. Anemophily flower, the flowers need not to be large and showy. So, need not to be large and showy. Nectar is absent. Then next is in these flowers the anthers and stigma exposed towards outside. This exposed to its outside become by the wind. These anthers are moved away by the drifted by the wind to the other flower. So this here anthers and stigma are exposed to the outside, and the stigma and pollen grains are feathery. To be drifted easily by the wind. Feathery. Then the pollen grains are dry. Lightweight, to get easily drifted or carried away by the wind. So I am having a flower with me, this one, just to show you this one. As you can see, these flowers. This one is the flower, which is the yellow oleander. yeah, bright colored flower. At the base, nectar is present, which attracts birds and insects for the pollination process. This flower is a wind pollinating flower, or the Anemophilous flower, which gets these feathery pollen grains. These feathery pollen grains get easily carried away by the wind, and the flowers are not showy. The flowers are very small in size. The stigma and anthers are exposed to the to outside. So these are the characteristics of the flower. For the Anemophilous, then the condition is for hydrophilicity. Hydrophilous flower, the anthers are very lightweight, and the specific gravity of anther is equal to the specific gravity of water. Now what this is the physics, the term we are using in physics. Here specific gravity, when the specific gravity is equal, then the anthers float just under the surface, not above the surface, under the surface of water. And thus in these flowers, the aquatic flowers, the female flower moves up to the surface, and the pollen grains floating on the surface or under the surface of water gets carried over by water to the female reproductive structure, which is the stigma, the female carpel, and then the process of pollination takes place. Next is the ornithophilous. In ornithophilous flowers, bats, the flowers are large and having nectar. For the nectar, the insects used to sit on the flower. These bats come to the flower to eat the insects, not for nectar. The bats come to birds come to eat the insects, and for this the pollination takes place. And in case of bats also, bats are coming to eat the insects, and the pollen grains stick to the body surface and gets transferred. Next is the artificial pollination. Artificial pollination is the pollination process which is by mechanical way. Mechanical way is removing or avoiding the self-pollination process, or the natural way of pollination. So when we are trying to avoid the natural way of pollination, then what we can do is emasculation, that is removing the anthers. Removal of anthers ensures that the pollination process takes place only by the desired pollens which we want to get to pollinate the flower. So here the removal of anthers, which is emasculation, or emasculation means masculine part is removed or the male part is removed. Then one more technique is bagging. Bagging is a technique where the stigma is covered with a cellophane paper or a cellophane bag to avoid pollination, natural pollination, and dusting the stigma with the desired quality pollen grains. So here bagging, covering the stigma. Next examples are pea and maize. In case of pea plant, the structure of flower is such that it avoids self-pollination. The stigma is covered by a hood-like structure which is termed as keel. Hood-like floral part, which is the corolla or the petal. Here, this stigma is covered by the petal to avoid self-pollination. So this is a special feature of pea flower. In case of maize, from the maize cob, you have seen that this type of structures coming out, and these are the exposed anthers. So these anthers, by the wind, they get and the pollen grains of the anthers get carried over by the wind and pollinates the flower present below the flower, or present in the same plant, or present in different plant. So this way, in this pea plant, these are the special structures in these two flowers. In pea, the stigma is covered by the keel, and in maize plant, the pollen grain and the male reproductive structures are exposed towards outside. So this is all about the pollination process. In the next class, we'll discuss about the fertilization. How after pollination, what are the steps which the plant undergoes to form a seed or a fruit. So all these processes, that is the fertilization and post fertilization events. Thank you for today's class.